Okay, let's talk about exercising after 50. It can feel like a real catch-22, right? You know you're supposed to be active, but at the same time, the fear of getting hurt feels, well, it feels more real than ever. So in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We'll give you a super clear, smart, and safe guide to staying fit for life.
Check out this number, 107,000. That's the number of people, just people over 50, who wound up in the emergency room because of an exercise-related injury. And that's in a single year. I mean, that number just perfectly sums up the problem, doesn't it? Everyone's telling you to get moving, but that little voice in your head is worried about getting hurt.
So, the big question is, how do you get all the amazing benefits of exercise without taking on all that risk? Well, that's exactly what we're here to figure out. We're going to walk you through a plan backed by experts that helps you build a routine that actually works, and more importantly, one that you can stick with for the long haul. All right, here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with that fitness paradox I mentioned. Then we'll get into what's actually happening inside our bodies as we age. From there, we'll lay out a simple 4-part fitness plan, go over the must-know safety rules, and wrap it all up with how to fuel your body the right way. So let's jump right into section 1, the over 50 fitness paradox. This is really the heart of the matter. It's this weird situation where the exact things that start to go downhill with age are the very same things that exercise is perfectly built to improve. So on one hand, as we age, our bodies they change. It's a fact of life. We naturally start to lose some muscle mass, our bone density can decrease, and our metabolism slows down. But here's the flip side, and this is the really exciting part. Exercise is like our secret weapon against all of this. It helps build back that muscle and bone, keeps your heart healthy, and even helps delay cognitive decline. So yeah, it might feel a little tougher, but it's more crucial now than ever. Okay, to really get why this is so important, we need to get a little more specific. We need to understand the why behind these changes. There are 2 big players we need to talk about, 2 conditions that really highlight what's going on. First up is something called sarcopenia. Sounds kind of complicated, but it's really just the medical term for the muscle loss that happens as we get older. You know that feeling of just not being as strong as you used to be? This is a huge reason why. And get this, if you don't do anything about it, you could lose up to half of your muscle mass. That's a staggering amount. And the second one is osteoporosis. Now, this is the one that weakens our bones. It makes them more porous and brittle, which means they're way more likely to break, not just from a big fall, but even from minor everyday stress. It's a serious risk. But here is the absolute best part. You are not powerless against this stuff. Far from it. Think about it. Sarcopenia takes away your strength, while exercise builds muscle mass right back up. Osteoporosis weakens your bones. Weight-bearing activities actually slow down that bone loss. So you see, you have a ton of agency here. Exercise isn't just some nice-to-have habit. It's a direct, powerful solution that you are completely in control of. Okay, so we've covered the why, we get the challenges. Now let's get to the fun part, the what. What do you actually do? Well, a really solid, safe, and effective routine is built on 4 key pillars. Pillar number 1, and this is the big one, is strength training. Honestly, if you talk to experts, they'll tell you this is probably the single most important thing you can do for your body after 40. It's your number 1 weapon against sarcopenia. It builds that lean muscle that literally acts like armor, protecting your joints and supporting your whole frame. Next up, pillar 2, cardio, or aerobic exercise. And yeah, we all know it's great for our hearts. But weight-bearing cardio, think walking, hiking, even dancing, does something extra cool. Every single step you take puts a little bit of good stress on your bones, which sends a signal to your body that says, hey, we need to keep these bones strong. It directly helps slow bone loss, especially in your legs, hips, and lower back. Pillar number 3 is flexibility. This is all about making sure your joints can move through their full, happy range of motion. It's not just about feeling less stiff, though that's a nice bonus. It's actually critical for being able to do your strength and cardio exercises with good, safe form. If you're too tight, you can't do the moves correctly. And that brings us to our 4th and final pillar, balance. And look, this doesn't have to be some crazy circus act. We're talking about simple things, like standing on one foot while you brush your teeth. But it is so important. Why? Because falls are one of the top causes of serious injury for older adults. So working on your balance isn't just an exercise, it's a safety measure. It's your best defense against a fall that could change everything. All right, so now you've got the 4 pillars. You know the what. Now we need to talk about the how. These are the non-negotiable rules of the road. Think of this as your smart and safe playbook to make sure you stay in the game and out of that emergency room we talked about. Listen to this quote from chiropractor Jeremy James. Doing exercises the wrong way can be worse than doing nothing at all. I mean, let that sink in for a second. It's not just about showing up and going through the motions. The goal is smart effort, correct effort. Because doing an exercise with bad form is a fast track to getting exactly the kind of injury you're trying to avoid. So let's break down the playbook. Here are 5 rules you've got to live by. First, ease into it. Focus on getting the form perfect before you even think about adding more reps or weight. Second, always warm up. A few minutes of slow, easy movements gets the blood flowing and preps your muscles for work. Third, vary your routine. Don't just do the same thing every single day. That's how you get overuse injuries. Fourth, get the right shoes. It sounds simple, but it makes a huge difference. And finally, number 5, when in doubt, ask an expert. Seriously, hiring a trainer for just 1 or 2 sessions to check your form is one of the smartest investments you can make. Now, if you know you have osteoporosis, we have to be even more careful. There are a few specific types of movements you really need to avoid. Think high-impact stuff, like jumping or jogging. Also, deep forward bends from the waist, like trying to touch your toes, can be risky. And you'll want to be careful with any forceful twisting of your spine, like you might see in some golf or tennis swings. These moves can put way too much stress on bones that are already fragile. Okay, we've talked a lot about the workout itself, but the work you do in the gym is really only half the battle. The real magic, where you actually get stronger, happens during recovery. And that recovery process is powered by 2 things: the right food and proper hydration. So when it comes to fuel, there's one number I really want you to remember: 1.2 grams. That's the amount of protein in grams that experts recommend for healthy older adults for every kilogram of your body weight, every single day. And what's really interesting is that this is actually more protein than what's recommended for younger folks. So why the extra protein? Well, think of protein as the construction crew for your body. After you exercise, your muscles have tiny little tears in them, and protein provides the building blocks, these things called amino acids, that your body uses to repair that damage and, in the process, build the muscle back even stronger. If you don't get enough protein, it's like asking that construction crew to build a house without any bricks. Your hard work just doesn't pay off. Hydration is the other piece of the puzzle, and it actually gets a bit trickier as we get older. It's kind of like a triple whammy. First, our bodies just don't hold as much water as they used to, so our reserves are smaller. Second, our thirst signal, that little voice that says, hey, you should drink something, it gets quieter and less reliable. And third, our kidneys get a little less efficient at conserving water. So what's the result of all that? You can easily become dehydrated without even feeling thirsty. That's why you can't wait until you're thirsty to drink. You have to be proactive about it all day long. All right, let's wrap this all up into a simple takeaway toolkit. It really comes down to 3 things. Number 1, move smart. That means building your routine around those 4 pillars we talked about: strength, cardio, flexibility, and balance. Number 2, play safe. This means being a real stickler for good form, always warming up and using the right gear. And number 3, fuel right. Make getting enough protein and staying hydrated a top priority every single day. So I want to leave you with one final question to think about. What is one move you're going to make this week for a stronger tomorrow? Look, it doesn't have to be some massive overhaul of your entire life. Maybe it's just scheduling one 20-minute walk. Maybe it's ordering a set of resistance bands online. Or maybe it's just putting a water bottle on your desk as a reminder. What's that one small, simple thing you'll do this week to start building a stronger and more resilient you?